Hello and welcome to Impact TV, where you'll get strategies for becoming a more influential leader, reaching your next level of success, and making an impact on the world. I'm your host, Betsy Allen-Manning, founder of Motivate You Enterprises, keynote speaker, best-selling author, and human behavior expert. I am super excited to share our impact leader with you today. He is not only a former boss of mine, but he's also become a very, very good friend of mine as well, and is super inspirational as well. You'll love him. His name is Kelley Jones. Kelley, welcome to Impact TV.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, before we get started with the questions, I want to give everybody kind of an overview of who Kelley is. So check this bio out. And this is just part of his bio, by the way. Kelley Jones is the founding partner of Hospitality Alliance and principal of Kelley Jones Hospitality, with offices in New York City, Dallas, and Las Vegas. And Kelley is also the host of Vegas Restaurant Rehab, featured on the Food Network. And his ventures include everything from the Belmond El Encanto in Santa Barbara to the Avenue Hotel in Bellevue, Washington, Violette's Vegan Organic Cafe in Las Vegas, Nevada, and so many more. It's incredible. Kelley also instructs the culture and leadership training for all managers and team members at many venues for the Madison Square Garden Company. And as an innovator and leader by nature, Kelley has been on the opening executive teams of some of the country's hottest leading hotel brands and has held senior executive level positions with 3 of the top 75 multi-concept restaurant operators in the country. And if your jaw is not dropped by now, he's also a founding member of the Epicurean Charitable Foundation in Las Vegas and serves on the board of the Nevada Blind Children's Foundation. Jaw dropped. Kelley. Absolutely. Absolutely amazing. My goodness, that bio is incredible. Tell us something fun about you that we don't know, and then tell us a little bit about your impact project, what you're doing right now.
Sure. Something about me, one of the hardest things about the COVID stay at home is no concerts. I'm a live music fanatic. I probably go to about 80 concerts a year. In fact, when I travel to the various states that we have properties in, the first thing I do when I know I'm going is I go online to see what concerts might be happening in that city. So avid music collector, have over 7,000 vinyl albums, 5,000 CDs. Wow. And now with digital, my digital library is pretty big. So yeah, that would be something that a lot of people don't know about me. But the impact project, my passion project right now, I think, you always know where you were, like on huge events like 9/11.
Yeah.
Well, on March 16th of this year, I closed down 12 of 15 properties that I was in because I operate restaurants, hotel, food and beverage operations, and food halls. And we closed down 12 of 15, laid off about 300 people. On the 17th, we formed an organization here in Las Vegas called Hope for the City. And by the 18th, we had started on March 18th, our very first pop-up food pantry. And now 5 days a week for now 11 weeks, we're coming into week 12 tomorrow. We have operated over 150 pop-up food pantries, given out, all staffed by volunteers. So we're a 501c3 charity that brings hope for the city. That's what we're called, Hope for the City. To kind of give you a sense of what that all looks like, the largest food pantry in Southern Nevada gave out 800,000 pounds of food in 2018. In 11 weeks, we've given out almost 4 million pounds of food.
Wow.
The lines are long every morning. We get out there by 7 now because it's 100 degrees in Las Vegas. So we're setting up, and by 8 o'clock, we're rolling cars, and we feed anywhere from 1,500 people to, we've done up to 4,000 people in a given day.
And who comes, Kelley? Who are the people that you're feeding?
Everybody, anybody that needs, needs food or wants to volunteer. It's, go to hopeforthecity.tv. So we're looking for 3 things. We're looking for food, we're looking for money for food, and we're looking for volunteers. And this is honestly the very first charity that I've ever been part of where we can honestly say 100% Every dime that's raised goes right back to feeding the city. We have no administration, no overhead. We're made up of 100% volunteers. We're now at over 1,600 volunteers that have come out and helped with our pantry. And Betsy, you lived in Las Vegas. It's heartbreaking. One day at Palace Station, the line of cars wrapped around the entire casino parking lot and then snaked down Sahara all the way to Fort Apache. It was a 4.5-mile long line of cars. And in fact, the police had to turn all of the traffic lights to blinking red lights because people were pulling out of, a side street and onto the back of the line, but actually they were cutting the line because the line was too far back. So, Vegas
people always find a way to get around that, don't they?
Yeah. And it's sad because, there's people that are waiting sometimes 3 and 4 hours for food. And, now we're starting to see, Mercedes-Benzes and BMWs and Escalades, even saw Tesla out there. And, there were comments like, they have a Tesla, what do they need food for? It's like, if you're willing to wait a couple hours, I don't care what car you have, you need food.
Yeah. What I love about that too is that the saying, many people know the saying, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but the church that I used to go to, that I think you go to now, Central Christian in Las Vegas, says what happens in Vegas changes the world. And that's what you're doing right now. You're out there. So quick question, how do you get 1,600 people to come and volunteer? We're coming into summer, so it's a little hot right now, or it's in June in Las Vegas, and you're getting people up at 7 o'clock in the morning. How are you getting people to volunteer, to come back again and volunteer? Is this something that, because they already have this passion in their heart to help, how do you do that?
Well, it started out as a church, initiative for sure. Where, Hope for the City was attached to Central. We're now our own separate 501c3. So, certainly the church community came out in force, but also, we're partners with 3 Square and Cisco and US Foods. So, the pop-up food pantries are actually on the 3 Square website, which is a Feeding America affiliate here in Las Vegas. So a lot of people have come out to volunteer through, 3 Square as well. But, Las Vegas has a huge heart. I came here kicking and screaming in 1998 to open Mandalay Bay. So I'll go for 1 year and then I'm moving back to New York. Ended up, that was 22 years ago. So, Las Vegas is a huge philanthropic community. There's a lot of amazing charities and amazing people that just want to do good. And, we're 2.2 million people in the Las Vegas Valley. 50% of them out of work right now because of, we're a hospitality town, and, it's, not going to get better soon because, even though some of the casinos are reopening, they're only reopening about 25% of the casinos, and they're only going to be bringing back about 25% of their work staff. So there's going to be a need here for a long, long time to come.
I agree with that, Kelley. So for you, you're such a busy man. You have all these different businesses, different things you're juggling in the air right now, and trying to take care of your own people that work for you. And on top of that, you take this on. So what inspired you to take this on?
Well, we both know Mike Bodine, and when Mike called, the answer is yes. What's the question? He's one of the most inspiring, human beings I've ever known in my life. And, he called and asked, and, it was also cathartic for me the first week going out there because, my business is feeding people. And so we're still feeding people. I'm just doing it for free right now. And the need and the fear in people's faces was, huge. The first 2 weeks was just, nobody knew what was happening. It was a whole new thing that, everybody was unknown of what the future would hold. And then I think after a few weeks, it was just like, okay, it is what it is. Everybody's staying in place. And, it was, it's gotten a little bit better. And now, my restaurant here in Las Vegas was able to open 2 weeks ago, but, my business model as a restaurant and food and beverage guy is how do you pack as many people into a room as possible? And now I got to figure out a whole new business model because we're only allowed to bring in 50% capacity. So restaurants are thin margins anyway. So, it's a new normal to figure out how to survive this.
Yeah. Yeah, and not only survive it, the fear that you talk about in people is very real. And some people don't have the fear. They're just going about life. They're trying to do whatever they can. And you and I had talked before we started this. You saying you know you're not one that you're not wearing the mask. You're not hiding out. My husband and I, we kind of we wear our mask when we go out. We order our groceries online. We're just trying to protect ourselves, I guess, until we don't know. There's so many unknowns, and I've been conducting these webinars online called Intentional Success, about how to prepare to bounce forward to a better you when this is all done. And one of the questions I'm asking them is, what's the number one thing that's causing you fear and that's stopping you right now? And the choices were getting coronavirus. Another one was losing my job, not being able to put food on the table. And then the other one was the unknown, uncertainty, not knowing when this is going to end and how long this will last. And that was 76% of people so far that I've asked, and I've had hundreds of people on these webinars, have said the uncertainty of it. So with this uncertainty, with you keeping going on this, you got this off the ground very quickly, Kelley, and it's happening fast. It's still moving. You're expanding right now doing this. What do you attribute to your success?
Boy, that's a great question. I think a lot of it is learning from great leaders. One of the things that I learned a long time ago is, ask the people that are doing it, how they did it. Certainly, I've had some amazing mentors in my life. I think, the success of my business life is I just have always worked hard, from when I was a little kid, with a paper route to my first restaurant job at 14. I could always work longer, faster, and harder than most of the people around me. So, again, have just replaced, my business life with this charity life. But at the end of the day, it's humanity. You got to do what's best for humanity. And that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to give back. And so, God has blessed me with some amazing things in my life. And, if I can turn around and help others, then, that's what you're supposed to do.
I love that. I love that. And you can't do it alone. This is something that's so big to feed that many people and go through that much food. You need help of so many people. Obviously, you've developed relationships with other people. How would you tell other people who are maybe looking to start something in their own city, or maybe they're looking to help out where you're at as well? How would you encourage them to develop the relationships in order to build something like this?
It's amazing, your network and the things that you can, accomplish with people, and, Central obviously is a mega church with a lot of people. So the way we started and accomplished this is, they put the word out to the, I guess 10,000 plus people that, call Central home. And, we had quite a big turnout, And you're right. You develop relationships. It's great because I'm in the same 5 places every week. And I know, oh great, Tuesdays Coronado, I'm going to get to see these people, and Wednesdays at Sunset Station, I get to see these people, and Thursdays at Wynn, and Fridays. So that's really cool because the same people are typically coming out, each day. There's some people like myself that are there every single week. I haven't missed a day yet, again, I told you earlier, it's because that's my workout now because the gyms are closed. So it's great to get out there pumping boxes. As far as other people doing this in their states, my recommendation is go to Feeding America. It is a national organization, and they have typically partners in every city that they partner with. In Las Vegas's case, it's 3 Square. We at Hope for the City, 3 Square could not distribute the amount of food they're distributing without Hope for the City, because we're the manpower behind, actually manning these pop-up food pantries. And what's really, really amazing about it, so tomorrow morning, Coronado High School, I'll get out there at about 6:30. Other volunteers start showing up between 6:30 and 7. The truck shows up at 7. We literally unload it, set it up, start bagging and boxing what we have to bag and box. We get the cars start going at 8. By 8, 9 o'clock, 9:30, we're cleaning up, packing up. By 10 o'clock, the parking lot's empty again. So we're a completely 100% green pop-up food pantry. And we're just, giving out bulk food, which is, typically between 35 and 40 pounds. So the food we're giving out can feed a family of 4 for 4 to 5 days.
Wow. It sounds like you have a lot of structure in place in order to make this happen. And I know that that's what you need in order for any successful business, but also successful charity as well. None of this can go as smoothly as we want it to go, right? There's hiccups in anything new that we start, and old things as well. So what are some challenges maybe that you faced along the way, and how did you overcome them and help other people overcome them as well?
Well, I will say this. We're a lot better now than we were 11 weeks ago when we started this. In fact, it's trial and error. Everything in life is trial and error, right? One of my favorite sayings is success is the result of good judgment. Good judgment is the result of experience, and experience is often the result of bad judgment. So, at Sunset Station, which is the largest pantry, we did 1,201 cars is the record. So 1,200 cars we did at Sunset a couple of weeks ago. But we didn't set up the same way for 6 weeks. Every week we set up differently, and we evolved it until by week number 6, we set it up and we were doing 4 lanes of cars at a time. So one big line would split to 4 lanes, and we would just pop the food in, and we did 1,200 cars in about 2.5 hours.
Oh
from
my
the
goodness.
time we got there until the time, we ran out of food. So, you could apply this to everything in your life. Everything is about trial and error and understanding collaboration, how important collaboration is, right? None of us are as good as all of us. So, somebody will have an idea, and somebody will evolve that idea, and somebody will evolve that idea. So you always have to have an open mind and just hear people out. And, again, none of us are as good as all of us, and that's how we've gotten so efficient. Every time we do this, we're more and more efficient every day.
Love it. I love it. And do you have team members coming up to you, volunteers that come up and they say, I think this could go better if we tried it this way, and you're taking those ideas on a daily basis? The one thing I know about you as a leader is you're very, very open to others' ideas. You're not threatened by it, but you're open to it.
You don't learn from people that agree with you. You learn from people that will provoke, your status quo and the way you're thinking about things. And, I always believe that when 2 people in business always agree, one of them is not necessary, because, what are you doing to evolve each other and to teach each other new things and new ways of doing things? So I think that that's, super important, that, you're always, listening to other people and provoking the way things are done. And, if it ain't broke, break it. How do you make it better all the time?
If it ain't broke, break it. I love that. Well, what kind of, this isn't going to last forever. Hopefully, we will resolve all of this. We can get maybe back to whatever the new normal is going to look like. But what lasting impact do you hope that this project has?
Well, I don't think it's going to go away. Hope for the City. We did our first benefit concert. In fact, I'll send you the link. You would love it. We were able to get for free ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox affiliates here in Las Vegas to all air on May 9th at 7 p.m. A Night of Hope. And that was a benefit concert that benefited Hope for the City. We raised $696,000 in over that broadcast. And we had, some pretty incredible acts that recorded songs just for us, like One Republic and Kobe Kelley and, other people. And, we had, the opening sequence is all the Cirque du Soleil performers doing a original song. And it was, a big Zoom of all kinds of acrobats and musicians, and it was really cool. And it was a lot. We're actually preparing A Night of Hope 2, which will air at the end of June, and we've got some pretty big partners lined up for that one. So, I think this isn't going away. Hope for the City started out as a food pantry, but now we've expanded into, clothing and furniture drives. We have a 24-hour hotline for, people with addiction problems or mental health problems to talk to somebody. So we think Hope for the City started out of a very real emergency need, but, we've just spun it off, and we are formatting, and getting a board put together. And we think that Hope for the City will probably be a charity that, supports and helps people in Las Vegas forever.
Oh, that's so great that it started off to serve one need and it's expanded from there. So, and that's what Kelley Jones does. And that's what I'm used to seeing you do in business. And so for you to take that and do that within charity is absolutely incredible. If you could start all over again from scratch, is there anything that you do differently?
I don't think so. I think just like in your life, the good things, the bad things, they all happen, to make you a better person, to teach you lessons in life.
Yeah.
So I don't think that I would um, do anything different because we needed to know um, how we could improve ourselves all along the way. So I think those lessons are always valuable, whether it's in business or charity or life. You know, it, don't change it, learn from it.
Gotcha. And I love that. I love it. So what for you then has been, out of everything up to this point, what's been the most rewarding part of this?
Well, I'm not a stay-at-home, sit-still kind of guy, as you know. So I think being able to get out, daily, work with the community. We're not just feeding people; we're giving them hope. Hence the name of the charity, Hope for the City. So when we're talking with people and we're handing out extra cookies to the families with kids in the car, we're praying with people. People are 11, 12 weeks now into it are still very concerned and afraid, and what's going to
Yeah.
happen next. And so saying earlier, when somebody's driving through in a BMW, well, guess what, they have a big car payment. So being able to give them food, so they don't get their car repossessed, I'll do it. I'll take it. And we're secular, so we're feeding anybody. If you get in line and you need food, we're going to give you food, no questions asked.
I love it. I love it. Kelley, a lot of people want to help out like this. Maybe they're in a different city than Las Vegas. They want to start something of their own, but they have no clue where to start. What's your suggestion for them?
Well, I think if you Google food pantry your city, you'll find that there's somebody doing it. And one of the things, there was a task force loosely based on the governor's task force here in Nevada. Probably 2 weeks into this, they reached out. Will you please, work with us and the things that we want to do? And, when we all got on our first Zoom call, I think there's 12 of us. Now we're called the COVID-19 response team, and another, group that got together. And, when I told them what we were already doing at Hope for the City, I was able to get that whole group just basically to be absorbed and help with fundraising for Hope for the City. And then they had a couple initiatives, which Hope for the City is supporting, including one tomorrow, where we're making 1,200 prepared meals for the UMC hospital staff. So tomorrow, right now
Nice.
they're prepping it all up, and tomorrow we're delivering 1,200 hot meals to UMC, University Medical Center. And another one is, now even a really affluent community like Summerlin is, now going through some things. So we're doing a pop-up food pantry up there next week. So that was two initiatives that the COVID-19 response team committee wanted to do. So we just kind of, together we're stronger. So we're going to help you with your initiatives. You help Hope for the City with fundraising efforts.
I love it. And like you said, collaboration is the key in all of this, because you cannot do it just one person. You need the whole community to come together. If people want to get in contact with you, maybe they have some questions, something, how would they get in contact with you?
Well, you can reach me through my website, Kelley at KelleyJonesHospitality.com, or just go to Kelley Jones Hospitality and hit the contact link. If you want to see something pretty astounding, go to hopeforthecity.tv and watch the videos. I mean, we have drone footage where you can see the miles and miles of cars online waiting for it. And then, you'll also see, the smiles on the volunteers' faces. They go and they give we're doing this because we want to help people, no other reason. So we're much more relational instead of transactional. When we're putting food in your car, we're waving to you, we're smiling to you, we're talking to you. It's just not a job that, we're getting paid to, get it over with. We're out there because we want to be out there. We want to serve our community.
You're heart driven, not profit driven on this,
Exactly.
on this one for sure. If you could leave one last bit of inspiration for people who they want to be a more impactful leader in the world, build better relationships, and really truly make their mark and make a difference in the world, what would that be?
A true leader lights a fire in people, where a manager lights a fire under people. So, there's an old saying, is there any other way to lead than by example? The only answer, no, there's no other way to lead than by example. Seek out the people doing what you want to do and doing it well, and emulate them, listen to them, be a student of your craft and consistently learn. If I'm not learning, then, I'm stagnant, and I always want to be learning. So, it's all about people. You've got to be a human and really love humanity before you can lead them.
Amen to that. And one thing I've always known about you is that you have always been the example. And it's that whether it's in business and in this as well, I see your posts on LinkedIn every single day with you out there helping. You're not just telling people what to do and you set it up one and done and now everybody does it. You're out there doing it with them and being that example to follow. So thank you, Kelley, for what you're doing to make a difference. It is inspiring for those of us that want to make a difference during this time. Some people don't know how, so your story is going to help them with that. So thank you for your time today.
My pleasure. Always a pleasure to see you too.
Thank you for joining us for today's episode of Impact TV. Once again, I'm Betsy Allen-Manning, wishing you a more successful and significant life.